Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Monica.
Good. So today we are here, and I'm wearing a hat, but it's not my gray mare hat, is it? It's my Mija's Horse Sharing Club hat, because we are so excited to be hosting you and your Horsemanship from Nature clinic here at our home in Spain in the middle of May. And I thought I'd invite you to come and we could have a little chat about it so you can tell people a little bit more what it's about, what they can expect, what we're going to get out of it, and a little bit about you. And so I have a few questions for you, if you don't mind.
Perfect.
Yes?
Perfect. Can't wait.
So I'm going to be it's 60 minutes with Monica. Sorry. Only 20, only 20.
Yeah, if that.
Okay. So, so Rachel, what drew you to this very special way that you have with horses? What drew you to this
Um,
way?
I started seeing people getting really stuck with the partnership and communication with their horses and not able to progress. And I live with a herd of Spanish Mustangs here that are really undiluted. And with their communication and the way that they ask me to be, and seeing how people are getting stuck with their horses, are putting two and two together, if you like, and leaning on what the Spanish Mustangs were helping me with, it created this whole new world of thought. When you see a horse hesitate or resist or switch off, most people consider that to be bad behavior. And add more pressure and more repetition and more effort. But when you step back from that and really watch the horses, and this is why the Spanish Mustangs are so important, because watching them, they're so clear with how they are and understanding that that is not them being difficult, it's just them being unsure. They're missing some clarity in the communication. So I became more interested in understanding what the horse was experiencing in that moment. And nature gives us that reference point. Because when we step out of systems and out of techniques and we watch the horses and observe the horses in their own environment, even in a domestic environment, things become more clear. And if we can tap into that and be more consistent with how we communicate with them, they then respond to what is happening in the moment. We have a tendency to overcomplicate things, and nature doesn't do that. It's not about rushing for a result, it's about clarity, timing, and space, whether that's physical, mental, or emotional. And that is what I'm going to bring to this clinic is the foundations. This is a foundation clinic where we will slow everything down and see what is actually happening and pay attention to the horse in front of us, not what we think should be happening, but what is actually happening. And
Wow.
from there, we can start working in a way that really fits horses naturally. And that's where we progress. That's when we achieve our desires, but still meeting and communicating with a horse as a horse.
Beautiful. That kind of answered my second question, which was, what does horsemanship from nature mean in practice? But you've just said that
Well,
beautifully. Yeah.
yeah, but I think I'm going to give it a really Monica nutshell, and that is working in a way that makes sense to the horse so that when they respond, it makes sense to us.
Oh, wow. Rachel, that's brilliant. Can you say that again? Or let me try to say it. Working in a way that makes sense to the horse so that when they respond, it makes sense to us.
Correct.
Very good. That's a beautiful nutshell.
Yeah.
Beautiful nutshell.
I need to write
Excellent.
that down.
Yes, write it down somewhere. Now, what would you say when we look at all these misunderstandings? What would you say is the most common misunderstanding that we have
I think
of our horses?
I think it's when people misinterpret the behavior Actually, no, let me rephrase that. They misinterpret the communication as a behavior only. And that behavior, if it's
Mm,
not, if you're asking a question and you're not getting the response that you either expected, anticipated, or want, or you're getting a response that actually has initiated fear, we automatically, and it's human nature, and there's no judgment here, we automatically think what the horse is doing is bad, not how we have communicated, not how we have asked, but that sense of, look, this horse was fine yesterday and it's not today. What is wrong with them? What is that behavior, their
mm,
behavior? Why is that behavior turning up now?
mm,
Or when something that should be simple feels more difficult. Um, and the other big one is not being enough for the horse, and all of that is based upon the way our horses communicate and understanding changes everything. We second guess ourselves, we second guess our horses, and the problem is not usually the task or the ask, it is usually the communication wasn't clear enough to the horse or for the horse.
wow. Yeah, absolutely. So once people come to a horsemanship from nature clinic and they start applying the concepts, what kind of changes can they or will they start to observe in their horses?
I think the biggest shift is how they observe what they observe in themselves, and that is they stop
Mm,
guessing. They stop guessing. They start opening up that curiosity. They start asking questions internally about, oh, why is that happening, rather than looking out. They're looking and observing in. So they stop guessing. Um, it's part of that. Instead of wondering, oh, what went wrong, they can actually see it happening in real time and being able
mm,
to, once they've noticed that, those small moments,
mm,
pause and adjust and try again. This is a huge important part of the simplicity of it that creates a open door for much more complex situations, whether you are, no matter what level you're at. So I think that is the big difference. They start noticing what their horse is actually trying to communicate and understand that that communication is based on their understanding of what you ask them.
wow. So you don't really need to have a problem horse to need to know this.
Not at all. It's our horses would like their lives to be easy, okay, no matter how or what we're asking of them.
Mm,
And when we say problem horses, like I said earlier, a lot of the problems are about communication. A lot of the problems are misunderstanding. And once we
mm,
understand, I'm not going to apologize for repeating it, things change. Things change
mhm,
immediately. So
mhm,
we need to understand, I think, that horses' problems are based on or usually show up because of certain factors. And you and I have spoken many times on this, and that is that their needs are not being met. And
mhm,
we concentrate a lot, and we should and absolutely concentrate on their needs, as in the three F's, freedom, forage, friend. So the basic needs of their environment must be met. But within our communication, they also have needs. And we can't ignore the fact that we have needs too. And it's marrying those two things up. So you don't have to have a problem horse to know that all our domestic horses have problems communicating with us. They are so
yeah.
willing to please, they are so wanting to do the right thing that we sometimes miss those horses that have tried so much over so long that they're not shut down, but they comply. And for me, that is a problem for that horse.
Mm,
We want to have this communication of this dual dialogue. so that we both
Mhm.
get the best out of it. So no, a problem horse is not necessary. But obviously, if you do have a problem horse, we will certainly address whatever
Yeah.
comes up in the behaviors that you see.
And and listening to you, I sometimes think, who would want to come to this clinic? Is it would high level competition people, leisure riders, people that don't ride, new owners, returning owners? What
Um,
who do you feel?
well,
What demographic?
I think all of the above, but the
Hmm.
important part is not it's not necessarily professionals to amateurs. It's the demographic of those that have a curious mind, that want to understand, that want to say, why is my horse giving me that answer?
Right.
What can I share and change and adjust to enable them to understand better and give me the right answer? Because no horse wants to give you the wrong answer. It's impossible. They want to give you the right answer because they need to be able to progress in the conversations and relationships they have with you. And they are relationship animals.
Beautiful.
So it's,
So
yeah,
it's not what you do with your horse, but what you be with your horse while you're
exactly.
doing whatever you're doing.
Exactly. It's not a list of techniques and it's not methods to tick off, boxes to tick, but it is a way, pardon, it's a way of interacting and working things out with your horse.
Beautiful. I can't wait. So
Mm.
beautiful. Um, if there's somebody out there listening to this that is curious and but a little bit unsure, what would you tell them to just
Well,
knock
first of
them off
all,
the fence?
first of all, I would say that if you are curious, you've already taken the step, because that is the state of mind that not only that this clinic benefit, you would benefit with this clinic, but your horses benefit from that state of mind, the curiosity. So we just need you to now look a little bit deeper. And one, I think, so that you don't have to arrive with a specific problem or a specific plan. This is about understanding your nature, understanding the horse's nature, and being able to make those two beings live in harmony so that you both can progress. Because this isn't about not riding or not doing. Of course, we will be not within the clinic, but we all want to do and ride. But it's about how you are when you do that. It's how you are when you ask for those questions. So, really, a willingness to notice what is actually happening with your horse and be open to adjust to the moment, the actual moment that it's happening, um, would be the biggest thing. So, jump off that fence.
Um, and just so you know, we will be holding the clinic at my home here in southern Spain. And if you want to stay a little longer, we are in the mountains for beautiful hiking, 12 minutes from the beach, wonderful cuisine, like really hearty food. Just come and relax and go back a new person for your horse. So make it a ride and no, a horse and relax,
Yeah.
horse and relax mini holiday.
Mm.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Rachel. Where
You're
can
welcome.
people, if people would like to get in touch with you and maybe have questions or want to share some not ideas,
Well,
want to find out more,
yeah,
what's the best way to do that?
obviously, send me a message through Facebook. I'm happy to ask any questions, and I know, Monica, you've also offered that if
Yeah.
they want to know anything about the area or where to stay,
Yes.
etc. Or you can go, if you go to the website, I'll put a link under this video, which takes you to the
Okay.
clinic page. It gives you a lot more information. Um, and you can always contact me through the website also if you have more details that you would like to know. I'm happy to answer any questions, of course.
Excellent. Well, thank you
Perfect.
so much, Rachel. I
You're
hope that
welcome.
will
Thank
answer
you.
some questions, rattle some people off that fence, and we hope to see you all here in Mijas in the middle of May. Bye
Can't
for
wait. It's going to be
now.
beautiful.
It
Bye.
is. Bye.